All right, thank you, Michael, for a great introduction. So as Michael said, that the main topic of my presentation today is to make you understand that it's always better to start with accessibility, because the tech debt at the end, if you do not, will be very big. So some words about me. I work at Pushbase, as Michael mentioned. My main interest is, of course, Angular, component-driven development, and Storybook. I have started my career with C++ and C, doing some programs from robots, but I was not feeling like this is my kind of thing, so I just switched to Java. After several years with Java, someone showed me the Angular. At the beginning of my career, I was a little bit laughing from front-end developers, saying that this is not programming, until I met the Angular. And RxJS totally destroyed me in my first days of the career, and then I love it. I love to feel destroyed with some technical stuff. So this is like professional me, but before I was so focused, let's say, on career and well organized. I was 15 years hardcore playing World of Warcraft until I met my lovely wife. As you can see, the only thing that left after me, except the kilos, I'm still not slim enough. Here is like my final form, 110 kilograms, true passion, but she made me to keep the comic books, so I'm okay. Not playing anymore, but the comic books are still in the house. Okay, so that's it about me. Let's go straight to the presentation. So, who needs the accessibility? And the answer to the question is that everyone needs it. So we have to create the applications that no matter which tool you are using, it should be as good as for the mouse and screen user, or even better, because we can do it better. We are not limited by UI, we are not limited by anything, we can do it much, much better. And how to do it? You have to understand how the screen reader users are feeling the website, and they feel website as a collection of vectors. So this is like the very, very basic website. That's not even a website. You have 14 focusable points. So that's maybe a half of navigation. What they can do using a browser, they can go forward and backward with shift and tab backward, and the tab going forward. So it's okay if you have only 14 points, but still you have to remember the position of them. If you get lost, it's starting to get hard. Then when you have a little bit more complex website with 50 points, the things are getting ugly. You have to move like 20, 30 positions every time you want to find something relevant or something that interests you. So the first solution for this thing is the headers, basics, because the accessibility is based on basics. Like this is the warm-up session, so I want to give you a little bit of basic information before we dive into the live coding. I love the live coding. Hope you like these sections also. So, little bit of theory. One header of the level 1 for a page. A lot of header too, if you want. And always you have to put the header of the lowest level after the upper level header. So that's the basics. How does it look at with the vector? So now you can use the shortcuts. You want to go to the next header level 2, just press 2. You want to go to another header of any level you want, press H. This is very, very convenient, but this is not working in the browser. So when you, for example, want to play with it in your home and say, okay, Adrian was lying to me, the H, 2, and 3 is not working. It is not working because this is not built in the browser. For this, you need NWA or any screen reader. You can go with Orca, whatever you like, or VoiceOver from the MacBook. But what happens if you have more vectors? So you have more complex website. Then the headers are not enough. You can use the shortcuts on the one vector level, but you have to somehow change the vectors and go to another place. This can be a little bit complex for you, but this is how they are using the website without seeing it. They can only imagine the position. So this is very important to feel where the focus is. And for this, you need landmarks. The classic landmarks like the header, the main, a site. Then you can travel between the landmarks and use headers to travel on this landmark. Then you can understand the website, because when they enter in the website, they don't see the colors, they don't see the images, nothing. They have to read the website from the top to the bottom to understand what it's all about. How does it look with the landmarks? They can use the shortcuts with D and just travel to the website. This is the basic navigation of the website. Now let's go to the technical flow, something more interesting for you, I hope. So now we will understand how the code is changing from the code to DOM, to the accessibility tree, and then how it is interpreted by the screen reader. The tricky part with the screen readers that they are understanding the accessibility tree different based on the operating system. So if you used to make styles for Internet Explorer, this thing is even more more complicated, and it's not really fun to work with because you have to understand every ARIA tag to make it actually work. So starting with the classic example, so this is the icon button. We have an icon inside the span. Then it is translated to document object model and to the accessibility tree node. And what it will be written? The path to the icon. So it says to the user nothing. This one is not very bad because we have iSet icon and save. So he could understand that, okay, it's called save. So this can be a save icon. But what if we called it like number 1? I have seen a lot of icons called just 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So we have to change it. There is one trick that if we put an out that's empty or with a word, this have the higher priority than image source. But if we leave it empty, nothing will be read. So this does not solve a problem. This is only a trick. How to solve it? With the span. If you go hard with the ARIA, you can go to put the roll button, tap index 0, every ARIA labels. But you have to understand that the first rule of ARIA in WCAG is don't use ARIA or use HTML over ARIA. So I feel it like doing this kind of crazy stuff with span is like creating toasts or sandwiches, depends on country, with iron. You can make a sandwich with iron. You can get hurt. You can get dirty, as my friend here in the dirty t-shirt. It's doable, but it's bigger cost and takes you more time, and it's really not convenient to do so. And you pay with performance because the DOM will be polluted. Look how many stuff is now inside the DOM. We pay a price. We pay a price of the number of code, a lot of ARIA tags that we have to put, but yeah, it's working now. So we fixed the accessibility tree. At this moment, when you look at this DOM, you should think like, okay, maybe I'm going into the wrong path. So how to solve it? Actually, this is very simple. You have to understand the thing that lack of basic accessibility is the lack of basic HTML, and just using div and spam over everything results in these hacks. So the solution for this one, just go with a button, and that's it. Just use the button, and it's working. If you have a span with clickable event, this should fire you. Okay, if this is clickable, then it's button. That's it. And I have a question to the crowd. What's the difference between the button and anchor tag? Yes, please.
So a button has a disabled property, for example. Why if you do it with the anchor tag, you have to
okay, but like the functional wise, when we should use button over anchor tag?
Anchor is navigatable.
Yes, anchor for navigation, button for actions. That's it. That's the answer.
Also not response to entry.
Yes. Sorry for taking sips. We just arrived from the plane. Okay. Now, as I showed you, I love the comics. So after the warm-up, I would like to show you a little comics that I generated with AI. I would be not able to do it without the AI. So the story is hard deadline, what can go wrong? So we are working at the program for Internet Cafe. I don't know that any one of you have ever played in Internet Cafe. I used to sleep on keyboards there when I was playing more than 16 hours. It was a great times in my life when I was young and doing some crazy stuff. And they order us, listen, we have a small place in the screen and we want to sell food for the gamers. Let's just like make more money, etc. The designers create the food widget concept. It's beautiful. They go with this directly to director. Like, this is simple. They can do it like that. Director said, I love it. Let's go. I already have bought some food. I want this in 2 months. Otherwise, the food will be gone. I bought it very cheap. Okay? Okay? We have a meeting. And now everyone is hungry. We have only 2 months for that. We are doing another stuff. we have to go really fast to reach the deadline. The backend team is okay. We'll bring the backend in 2 months or even before. The designers, they already made one frame, so they are okay. They will be for sure in time. What about the front-end team? Just let's wait for the Figma, copy HTML, and let's play Counter-Strike. This is a very old school joke. Time for Counter-Strike. So yeah, if you are static with this thinking, this will probably not work at the end. 2 months later, we do match the deadline. We have everything ready. We even pass the QA. We're not talking now about the quality of QA if they do not check the accessibility. And the question, do you remember about the accessibility? Because now we have to. Either ways, they will, I lost the word. They made us pay for not implementing the accessibility. So, like the classic movies, let's change our final destination. Don't get fired from the work. And I will show you how much work have to be done in order to make inaccessible components accessible with very short amount of time. So let's go to the code. So this is my favorite part. The speech is already done. Sorry. Okay. What we can do? We can first analyze the code or see the functionality. We first go with the functionality, try to understand the component, how does it work. Okay, so what do we have here? We have some basic component. This one is only for drinks. We can select a drink, close it with the mouse. Okay, it's working, so it serves a purpose. We can order. We can order a drink. Now let's see what's inside the accessibility tree. In order to turn on the accessibility, you have to click this guy, and to have this guy here, you have to turn this in the advanced configurations because that's not a default option. What's inside? Let's inspect. So we have a static text with best drinks. What does it mean? It means that this is not focusable. We can't use it at all. We have only static text. So for screen reader user, this is like a header saying that, okay, somewhere on the page there are best drinks, but this is not a header. This should be working, this should be focusable. So let's fix this at the beginning. Let's see what is happening in the template. And what we have here, we have span with the click event binding. Okay? So first thing that we can do, we can change this thing to button, as I showed you in the presentation before. So now the button is focusable. And we get another bonus because of that. First, okay, there is a button with best drinks. It is focusable. And then, okay, I can't see the focus. Why? Because the focus was not tested. The color doesn't have any contrast. We can open the menu, okay, but it does not have the contrast. We have to change the focus outline. The best for focus is to make it black. Okay, now it's better. Now we can see the focus. We can click the enter and it's working. And why it's working by clicking and enter? Because the event is bubbling and it's catching the click over here. If we go with the span, we have to put another event like key down and do this again. So this is like for free, gratis, just for using the good HTML. What else is happening? Okay, we have a classic way of describing the HTML with classes. So we have a content trigger, that's okay. We have some content wrapper, content and content text. So let's understand. This is like the content wrapper, okay? And we have a content. In the content, we have some items inside. So I would go with this one, with unordered list, and list items. Let's see the tree now. We have a list, 3 list items, and some static text inside. Those are not focusable, so we have to fix it. And the styles are broken. Why the styles are broken? Because they were styled on different elements, and some HTML elements have built-in styles. So let's fix this one. Let's look at the box model, and we see this is the margin, yes? That is giving us this big spacing. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is the margin that you give it as the big spacing. And the margin is actually coming from our unordered list element. This is 70 pixels by default. So we have to change this one in styles also. With 10 pixels, okay, this should be fine. Okay, now it's better. Okay, we repair it a little. Now let's help people with other disabilities. Something is showing very quickly. We have to tell them that something will show. This can be done with aria has pop-up. Let's go with it through. This will be done as, listen, not in these words, something can pop up after you click the button, so you don't get scared. Okay, this thing we have ready. What else? Now we have only one button, but in the normal page we can have like several buttons. So we have to explicitly say that this button controls central parts of the document. So we go with the aria controls, and we go with the drinks. We have to add the ID to this unordered list. So this will be announced also. Good. So we have aria has pop-up, aria control drinks. The button is okay. Now we have to fix the dirty nesting in our unordered list, because this is not looking very good. We have a list, and if you have to click in accessibility tree again to see content inside, they have to do the same while using the screen reader. So they are losing one more step just in order to understand the content. We can fix it with roles. So if we add a role to this unordered list, we know what it should be, and this should be a menu. Our pop-up will be a menu also. And this have a role of list item, menu item, sorry, menu item. This is more. Then it will be read with the menu item. It's still nested inside, but you can see it's ignored. This will be not announced by the screen reader. So you don't have to go one level inside in order to understand what this menu item is about. We have now 3 items, so that's not much, but you can have like the navigations menus with 10 or 12 entries. If you are looking at the website, this is very easy to spot the place where you want to click. They have actually to use the tabulator or arrows in order to understand the content. So with accessibility tree, we have some fixes. Now let's go with the functionality. What we can do with functionality? We can open the menu and select an item. So let's implement it. But the first thing we have to do, we have to move the focus after opening to the first item. because based on the way CAC, the menu should not be focusable, the list item should be focusable, and after opening the menu, we should always focus the first item. So when a user click enter, he's already on the first item, like streamlining the process for them. So let's put the tab index 0 here, tab index 0 here. What we now we have to take the open value, okay. I will use an effect for that. So if our menu is open, we should focus the first item. But the thing is that our menu is inside the if block. So it may not be rendered in the moment when the open signal value will be changed to true. So for that, we have to take the menu, give an ID to it, use the view child. This will be a signal of reference to an element, or undefined, because this one is in the if block with the menu. Okay, and whenever those two are true, we are sure that the list items are already inside. So we take the native element of the menu, look for the list items that are inside, okay, we want list items. Let's do some cleaning at the beginning. Let's do a getter. Let's do a getter from that. List items. Okay, let's do a get. Return. Okay. And now let's pick the first one and focus it. I can't hear. Maybe. We can talk about this later. I just took this one for example because I was feeling a flow with this one. But if you have a better solution than effects to trigger this one, we can talk about this one later on. And what's your idea for this one?
I think you missed the effect call.
Yes. Yes, okay, now I understand, sorry. And now I was thinking why this is not working. Okay? Yes. Okay? Yeah, good catch. Actually, a very good catch. Okay, let's see if it's working. Good. We have focused the first item, but we have break the ratio of the colors. We have to change it. Now it's like the white text on white focus. Well, when it was tested with the mouse, the hover was okay. It's a little lighter than the violet color, but this one is unreadable. As you can see on the hover, it's working perfect. So we have to change this one in styles also. And this will be here. So let's just take the hover color and put it here. We are good. What else? We can now click it. No, they are not buttons, so we don't have this for gratis. When we press escape, we lose the focus. So that's the worst thing that can happen to the user, because he don't know where the focus is. While he was making the plan in the vector in his head, he was in the middle of the website, he pressed the escape, and now he's somewhere on the first focusable element on the website, or if we have a lag, on the next focusable element. But normally it's the first one. Here the storybook overlay was focused, so this is clearly the first one. So we have to control it. So we need an event binding for key down. Okay. Let's go on menu item key down. That should be okay. We need an event and a drink. Okay, I don't like the dollar before. I go with the protected. I like to have protected methods that are used in templates. Okay, what we have to do? We have to stop the propagation and prevent default and react to the keys we are interested in. So the first one will be enter, and the second one will be space. So this one is a little bit tricky because the space is actually space. So you just go like this. You can go with the code, so then you don't have to write this kind of stuff. Okay, what do we have to do? This one was on the click, so we have to use it. Okay. On drink click, we go with the drink. Let's see what happens. We have lost the focus. Focus is somewhere. I don't know even where, because the storybook just don't got the focus. So probably it's at the end of the DOM. What we have to do, after selecting an item or escaping the menu, we have to focus the trigger. So we need the button, the trigger in this situation. Now we can go with the required view child, because this one is not inside the if block. Ah, yes. Okay. Okay, now I'm good. And we have to focus it. So after selecting the item, we'll end off in the button. So we are not losing focus. Now we have to do the same for the escape. But this time we are not selecting the item. So we just have to close the menu. Oh, sorry, open. Set to false. And then let's focus this guy. So as you can see, there is a lot of stuff that have to be done for make the component accessible. And now we are aiming for A. So that's the lowest accessibility score. Okay, let's see how does it work. Good. Now the little bit more difficult part. We need the navigation for arrows. So we have to catch up the arrow down, and there are two schools. Users have to have always this possibility to go from the first item to the last item, and from the last item to the first item. So this can be done in two ways. You can either implement the home and end button. Home will move you to the first item and to the last item, or you can make the round with the mouses. So when you are on the last item and press arrow down, it will move you to the first item. So I will try to go with the more difficult one at the beginning. If I fail, we go for the for the home and end. So what we need for that? We need the index of the active item. So we need to declare the index, and this is the array from our list items. Why array? Because we will use the built-in method for index of, and we go for document active element as this is list item, like that. Yes, this can be done with the injection token. I know this is like the better way. This is a demo of accessibility, so I'm not going with injection tokens. Later on, we have to increment it by 1 and focus this item. So let's go with the list items, index plus 1, and focus. So this is like the basic functionality that will move it to the last position, and then it's blocked. So if you start with this way, you can go straight forward for the algorithm, and the algorithm for that is the index plus 1 and the modulo of the length of the items. Okay, it's working. Then we need the arrow up. This one is a little bit more difficult, but we will do it. So this one is -1. Let's see if it works. It does. Now let's do the algorithm, and the algorithm will be this guy and -1, but plus the length of the items and again the modulo operation okay, good. Now we can select the items, travel through the items and come back. This is okay, but we are still blocked in the element. If by any chance you want just to leave the element, the tabulator now is not working, and this is a panic button. So you just can't delete the panic button. It has to be there. I want to leave the menu now. And this is not working because of those two lines. So in order to make this one work, we have to check, hey, if it's the panic button, just close the menu. Just set it to false. Let's take this stuff. Okay. Wait. Okay. And then this stuff inside. This way we are blocking it in the moments when it should be blocked, and the panic button is still there. But in order to show you that this one is working, I will just go with this guy, put it here. Let's say best food. I enter for drinks. Okay, I know what it's not working. This plach. Okay. And you want to leave it. I don't want any drinks. I just want food plus tabulator, and you are in the food. So that's why the tab is so important. If I have still some minutes, let's fix the last stuff that is not working here. So there are some icons inside that are telling the customer that I suppose that the drink is hot or cold, because they make us to tell the user that, listen, the coffee is hot, don't sue us. Okay, this is done by an icon, so our friends are free, but the screen reader can't understand it. And let's see how this is implemented. And this is done by a clever trick with CSS. So we have no control over CSS, none. We have to take this stuff out of the CSS. Second, take this guy. Okay, why you don't like me here? One. Don't. This is something stupid. Ah, yes. Fucker. Okay. This IntelliJ is trolling me. Okay. But now, this will be visible for the us. Like, let's say, the I users. We have to hide it from the screen reader with ARIA hidden. So this will be not announced. That's okay. So the functionality is preserved, but the users still don't know if it's hot or not. So for that, we have to go with ARIA label again. ARIA label. And go here. Okay, if it's hot, please take care. It's very hot, nicely and chilled. And the last thing that cannot be seen by a screen reader is actually that this contains drinks, and this is the drink button. Because if by any chance we change this to best offers or something like that happen and we put an icon, then the implementation will be lost. So we go again here with the ARIA label. This will be best offer for drinks in neighborhood, or let's say in office. Okay, if we want to preserve the offer, and then we have to go to put it here, and we go with ARIA labeled by let's go with the trigger, drink trigger. Okay, so let me push the live coding code. I like to I like to look at it at the end. If I do everything good, let's push it. This is like the plain coding. I was fixing some stuff. So this is the end of my presentation. Don't feel like this guy coding like me, sweating to bring the accessibility in 30 minutes, and just be happy as this Venezuelan tibia streamer from the beginning. Always choose the right tools from the start to don't suffer at the end. That's all. And if you like the presentation and want to see the code, I highly accept any stars on the repository. And that's it. Thank you.
Wonderful presentation, impressive I have to say. Are there any questions? Hands up. Yeah, that was the first one. I have to run very back one by one. Here we go.
Any tools except dev tools that you can test with later on to see that it's actually working?
Well, you have the axe, but the axe is linter. So for example, if you have everything that is a span and div, the axe will not catch it. If you put a menu to a div or an ordered list, the axe will tell you, hey, listen, this is the role menu, so there are a lot of stuff that is broken. But if you are starting from nothing, the axe will help you with buttons, inputs, and some obvious stuff that is accessible by design. Of course, if you have input element made from div and spans, even the axe will not help you.
Okay, thank you.
Another one here.
Thanks. Hey, I know there are some individual ESLint rules that can pinpoint some problems with accessibility, but imagine that you have a code base that really didn't focus on accessibility before.
Imagine that we have what?
That the developers didn't focus on accessibility.
Yes.
Is there any tool that you would feed the code base to, and it would give you some kind of a report?
There is no tool.
No tool.
There is only documentation.
All
and
right.
your understanding of every accessibility audit is starting from playing with website. You have to understand how it is working and then make it accessible to everyone. So this can be done maybe with AI in few years if someone creates such a beautiful model that we just understand the website and try to use it. But for now, it is not.
Okay, thanks.
If it's allowed, I add a little bit. Like there are a couple of tools where you can check basic accessibility issues. In the Lighthouse report, there is an accessibility section that will scan the HTML of your website and will print you a couple of basic issues that you did. There are linting rules that can scan your HTML and other areas in your code base and point out basic things. As Adrian mentioned, there is a limit, very advanced things, things that you can only check when you click through your website and really interact are harder to check and automate. And there is, I would say, it's possible to do that, obviously, because you can write
I have one example for questions.
There's no like fully implemented tool.
So those tools are quite smart. So if I have a bad landmarks example, so this have no landmarks at all, and if you put the header map on this one, headings map, you can see that there is a navigation landmark, but there is non-navigation landmark in the code. But the tools are quite smart. They actually reading the class names. So if you have a class name nav and some anchor tags inside, this will give you the landmark of navigation. But this is tricky because this is based on the class names. Of course, if you have this thing that I showed, like explaining HTML with classes, and it's well done, this tool can help you. But yeah, don't do that with CSS. The CSS can be changed, and you want to go with different class that does not call navigation, but I don't know, lovely bar, let's say lovely bar, the tool will just totally skip it. Okay.
So thanks for the talk. The implementation you did for like this navigation with the arrow keys and so on, that seemed like a lot of stuff to implement for each individual project. So are there any libraries that you could recommend that have
just
that stuff
go with
already
Angular
in there?
material. I just show you the deep dive, but you have everything ready in Angular material. Go with directives, and it's working. But if you have very complex components based on content projections, the directives have limits because they are based on the position of elements. So if you have like more nesting in element, this will not work.
Thanks for this great talk. I wanted to ask about, is there any good course or certificate about web accessibility for someone who wants to get deeper into that?
Actually, this one is learned by playing, but they are courses from EAP, International Association for Accessibility. They have some courses, but the courses are text-based. So at the end, every accessibility outlet is starting from playing and going with screen reader. So it's like with CSS. At the end, you have to play with it. But I think some courses will be on the market soon.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you also for the talk. I really enjoyed it. So I have a few questions. Is there a more declarative way to solve these things? Like
More which way?
Declarative, like declare instead of explicitly program things. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
I don't know, maybe a directive that makes...
Yes, the directive is the way to go, of course.
Like at the end of
like
the
Angular material did. It's just, if I start to take the thing out to directive, put the directive of the element, the talk will be too complex and I just could get lost. So I go with the pure coding without, snippets, changing the cards and just showing you how does it work down the hoods. But yes, always go with directive. Don't, create the wheel 10 times for your code base.
Okay, so I have to write the directives myself?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
And then you put it as a host directive.
Okay. Also, I think it was like a little hint. Is ARIA affecting performance?
Yes.
So is
because it is in DOM.
So
it is in DOM.
Is it advisable to have an option in the application to say use accessibility and only apply all these things if it's actually needed because you're affecting other users which maybe not use it?
How you turn it on?
Sorry?
Someone entering the page and he can see only on one side of ARIA.
No, of course you can have it like on default and then have a question like, do you want accessibility on your application?
That's UX
I
question.
guess it's impossible to ask someone that has any boundaries, usage boundaries, in a fully same way, if he wants to have an accessible website. Let's say, if you cannot see in your text, do you want to switch on, blah, click the button, will not see it, right? So, and without a screen reader, he cannot even know that it is here. So I guess it's...
I mean, the screen reader would have, of course, be so you implement the question or the confirm in a way that the screen reader knows, knows of it, right? Is it worth it? Like if you say, is a performance effect worth it?
If you read the docs, they are saying do not do that. I don't know why I did not create the docs of WCAG, etc. They just said that that's not a good practice.
To turn accessibility on and off?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, how can you it's like, come to my event, I have stairs only, but if you have a wheelchair, tell me front off.
No, have like on by default and opt out for users that don't need it. So if you say the performance effect is not a...
I guess the area tags, what they affect would be like the download time of the HTML file, and if you have it enabled by default, all users will get the drawback of having them in the HTML, and that would be, I guess, the only drawback.
But it's also DOM parsing,
And
right?
Google loves the accessibility. So if you go with server-side rendering,
No, I have like an application for like a business application where the users are get dynamically generated forms and they can opt in and opt out maybe. So, but you say the performance is not as okay. One,
It's also illegal since this year to do that.
yes.
to allow users to opt out of accessibility.
So
That's illegal.
you get sued if your website is not accessible.
No, it's not publicly accessible. It's only enterprise.
Is it not whatever the act is called that was turned on in 25 in Germany, Switzerland, and soon in Austria?
Okay, I will look it up. So
And in Poland also.
There is an accessibility act, XYZ, and people actively already get sued. We have customers, very good customers, we love them, because we can help them to not getting sued.
okay. And one last question.
Yes.
I know everyone will hate me now, but I'm not aware of how this screen reader works and how AI can support these things like, say, you have speech to text or speech to command and like focus first name. Like, is this a thing already in accessibility to have like
This is a thing for a very long time because there are a lot of users that are paralyzed and they are communicating with the voice. But in order to make this work, the elements have to be focusable and have to be announced to some tool so the tool can read it, understand it, turn it to the speech, you listen to it, and then you say, okay, I want to do some kind of action. There is no magic in programming. If you don't do it, it does not exist.
Okay, so I don't have to take care of it. I just provide the ARIA thingy, and the tools will make sure that there's a like a speech-to-text interaction. I don't have to take care of it.
Just play with it. The best way to learn it, because memorizing the ARIAs is worse than learning RxJS, I can tell you. They are like thousands of ARIAs, so just choose a component you like, go with button, go with roll button to WCAG, and understand all the surroundings near the button. Implement your button from the ground and put, okay, I need this area when X, I need this area when H, etc. Because you never go with full ARIA mode. I just put everything inside because you don't need it. They are too much stuff.
Okay, so I don't have to take care of speech to text or anything. This will be taken care of by the tools that the people are. Okay, thank you. I'm a newbie to accessibility, so thank you very much.
The tools are working different based on operating system. So this is a tricky part.
Okay.
So mostly at the end you have to put all the areas at the enterprise product just to be sure that Linux user or the macOS user and Windows user have everything working on. And the built-in screen reader for Windows is not the default one for the people with disabilities. So when you are testing with the built-in Windows screen reader, this is not the way to go. You have to go with NWDA. This is like the premium screen reader and everyone is using it.
NWA?
NWDA.
DA, okay.
Yes.
So
or Orca.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have a Actually, a very niche question, because when you put in the events, you said prevent default, and then, for example, if you press Control F to search on the website, wouldn't that also be prevented then?
Yes, actually when you put tab index 0, you have to implement everything on your own. That's why you go with directives, and those basic functions you just put with directives.
Okay. So even with your example there would still be some missing things.
Yes, this example was missing a lot of stuff,
Okay.
a lot.
Good.
I couldn't make it work without preventing default and stopping the bubbling of event, because on the click event there was signal that was changing the value. And if I did not prevent the default, after pressing the enter, the button that was on the upper level, we cut the event and we changed the signal. So we'll be always closing and opening the menu.
Okay.
I have this one. I forget about showing. There was a lot of stuff inside, but yes.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not really a question. I just wanted to mention that we had a problem where the user was only able to speak, right?
Okay.
And therefore, he was very angry about, because whenever there was some sort of accessibility, people are usually trying to focus on using the keyboard like tab, escape, and so on and so on. And he always had to say that press escape, press something, instead of just saying click. Because whenever we said click, like in this example also, the click was not, triggering any sort of the accessibility.
There was click also.
Yeah, but the click was not bound to the accessibility, right? Like going to the next and so on and so on.
But this is the thing how the tool is working. So the tool is looking either for key down, key up event, or for click event. So if the user say, hey, click the button, the tool will pick the click event binding.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how it should not work.
Maybe I was just
that's the responsibility of the tool. He's speaking to the tool, listen, click on the button. So the tool is responsible for looking for some node in DOM, look for the event binding for click, and click it.
Maybe,
you can't code it.
I was just wrong. I thought that it is only bound to the space and enter. But if the click was also there, then it's okay. It's fine.
The click was there.
Yeah.
It was actually based on clicks.
More questions? Here's one.
So thank you for the talk. I had a question about this tab index 0, because I'm just really scratching the surface, and we just installed this ESLint tools for adding the non-clickable element to have this tab index. And I always thought, because maybe I never read through really the documentation about it, if you are in a list, I need to increase the tab index all the time with the index of the ng4.
Yes, because the tab index is making the item focusable, even if you put 0.
Yes, but if all of them is 0, then it's just following in an order like it's in the HTML, or because I said that in your example everything was tab index 0. And do I need to care about like the H1, H2, H5 headings in the same way with the tab index, or what will happen if I have a reusable component and in one side of the page is in the bottom of the page and another side is in the top, and it has tab index, which maybe before it was already increased more than what's in the bottom.
You don't have to focus an item to make it read it by a screen reader. Screen reader is by default reading the headings. You don't have to put the focus on the heading.
Yeah, but with clicking also or tabbing, pressing the tab, can it happen that my tab index 2 maybe is in the bottom and maybe tab index 3 is at the top?
The
and
first
it's
rule
jumping
of tab
back and
index
forth?
is always go 0 and -1.
Okay.
Don't go with any other values because this shit is happening.
That's
0 or -1. Ain't no other values. Or maybe you want to play these games and count the indexes, but this is hard.
I did it and it was hard. That's why I
it
didn't know
can
it's
be fun.
possible. Just go with 0.
Go with 0.
Okay.
Or if you want to force something to be focused by tab by tab, go with 1.
Okay.
-1. Sorry, this one I'm getting focused sometimes. With 1.
Okay. So, and one more question. Maybe what was the question here? That it sounds bad, maybe for the disabled persons with disabled, but why we need to check what kind of disability has the user? Why can't we set they in the browser, like I have this and this disability, and then the browser will tell me what I need to turn on for the user? Maybe is there any plan?
But
for
it
that?
have to be implemented either way.
Because
Everything.
I think when they set up their browser, they can set up somehow that, okay, I have this issue, and then the browser will tell me what I need to turn on. Then I don't need to maybe turn on everything for every user, because maybe it's just a minority of...
So you will allow browser to manipulate your code?
No. The browser will just tell me, it's basically an API, what I can ask, like, do I need to turn on this feature or not? Okay.
And it is hard to answer. This is like some helping tool for programmer to make accessibility easier for us.
It's just basically from the opposite side, like I need to care about everyone. Why not the browser tell me who is the user who is reading my page and what do I need to
Well,
turn
the
on?
browser tells you. The Mozilla documentation have ARIA tags inside. So they do tell you. Listen, implement everything. That's the message.
Okay.
That accessibility is for everyone. So the first message inside, make the wake accessible for everyone, use HTML over ARIA. Those.
Imagine if you're rendering on the server, then how do you know what the client has? You have to deliver everything.
Okay, for server side, yeah, but what if I don't render on the server side? And maybe I can. But yeah, I will try to implement everything.
One-minute story from Tanja Ulic. She's doing a lot of accessibility talks, and she said, like, you know, who's the most probably for sure next user that needs accessibility features? You in 20 years. When you get older, you will suffer. In any case, you will suffer some problems with your body that makes it harder for you to access a website. And let's now think about a very easy thing that you can imagine. Maybe you will suffer your eyesight a little bit. Maybe you lose it completely. Maybe it gets just worse because you stare at the screen too long, way too long in your life, and then you slowly have problems to get the contrast right. And so you will suffer always a little bit and a little bit more. If every website from scratch implements good contrast values, it's one check in accessibility. Even if you get slowly older, you will not have a problem until you don't see at all, right? So, and maybe also to emphasize, like, we all will be the next person that needs accessibility.
And the hangover is the cognitive disability, by the way. So everyone have it someday.
Yeah.
Or most of us, let's say.
We still can rely on our muscle memory.
First, thank you for the nice presentation. And my question is it a common practice or a good idea to create a test like UI test like Cypress or Test Cafe for accessibility?
Great question, because my second presentation is about testing accessibility. So hope we will see soon. And I will combine 3 levels of testing. So like CDK testing, unit testing of accessibility, screen reader testing, and end-to-end testing with play functions. So storybook with the play right down the hoods. So yes, that's the plan for the next months.
And just addition, would you say that Copilot, can you help to write test, or is it he'll still...
Can he help you to write styles? Are they good?
Yeah.
They are not bad. Same goes with accessibility. It's all about you. If you know what have to be done, the AI will bring you very good result. But if you put shit inside, you will get shit as a return. So like say, make me this thing accessible. Okay, ARIA label, click me. And that's, the result of AI. You have to be very descriptive. And to be descriptive, you have to know the topic. This is not magic. Just...
Of course, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can we have a last round of applause for Adrian, please?
Thank you.